Well, today we're here in San Luis Obispo. We are interviewing Dan Grasseschi, and he's the owner of Top Precision Machine Shop in San Luis Obispo. How you doing, Dan?
I'm doing well, thanks.
Great. So tell us your story about becoming a machinist particularly, and then an owner of a machine company.
Well, I just kind of fell into it. It's a trade that you basically get apprenticed into, but I started working in a glass tempering plant that had machinery, and working around the machinery, there was an opportunity to get a job in the maintenance department. I started off doing that, and then got more familiar with how the machines worked, and did a little machining there, and then went on to, I've worked at probably a dozen machine shops in my life.
So before you were a machine shop owner, what percentage of that was repairing machines as opposed to doing machining?
Probably 20%, probably a small percentage, and then I got more into the machining. Repairing was early on.
And did you learn the actual CNC machining in the shops that you worked in, or did you go to a school?
No, just on the job in the shops by people that knew it better than I did. I did find out though, once I got going in it, that I did need to go back to college and take some additional math.
Oh, okay.
So I did do that.
And what level of math was that?
Well, I took it all the way through calculus.
Okay.
Probably a little further than I needed to. But mainly at that point, you needed to know trigonometry. The computers have made that almost. You almost don't need to do that these days, because the computer does a lot more for you. But it does help to have algebra and a little bit of analytic geometry and trig.
Now, are there still entry-level positions today where you can come in and maybe sweep the shop and then gradually learn to do the machine work?
Yeah. In fact, that's probably one of the best ways, is get your foot in the door in a good shop and work your way up the ladder.
You brought up a good point. So how do you find a good shop?
Well, that's a good question, especially if you're starting out and you don't know what a good shop really is. I would say probably word of mouth, or if you know someone that works in a machine shop, or if you have a friend that is working in a shop. It's really like any other trade. Like if you're working for a cement company or a cabinet maker, you just find a shop that has a good reputation, and you try to get hired on there.
And I guess part of it is, once you're in the industry a little bit, you'll learn those things.
That's right.
Yeah. So you answered one of the questions. So in high school, it'd be good to concentrate in some math, although the computers are taking care of a lot of that. Are there any other traits or skills that someone should have before they come into this profession?
Not really. I mean, just good English skills and good communication skills, and probably math is probably the main one. Mm-hmm. But it's really more of a trade that you learn on the job over. It takes about 10 years to get good at it.
Okay.
And then working your way up the ladder in the shop is kind of the way it works.
And today, with the economy and everything you know about, is this machining a good field for a young person to get into?
I think it's a fantastic field to get into, because there's lots of opportunities for a good machinist. I say I've been doing it over 35 years, and I've never been without a job. There's always shops looking for people that can do this type of work. However, it is feast or famine in a lot of machine shops. There's ups and downs, like with any contractor trade. Mm-hmm. You have to go where the work is. But overall, if you find a good shop, you'll probably once you get to a certain level as a machinist, you'll probably always have a job.
That's great.
Yeah.
And with that basic training, are there fields that I might be able to move into after learning to be a machinist?
Yeah, I mean, certainly, like what I did, you start your own shop, become an owner of a shop. You can go off into engineering fields, mechanical engineering, industrial engineering, that type of thing. But being a machinist itself is enough of a reward that you could probably do that the rest of your career and be happy with it.
So if in becoming an engineer, I would equate that to a carpenter or framer becoming an architect. You just have a better basic knowledge before you went into that higher field.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us today, Dan. I know you have a lot of work to do, and I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.